Hey guys, it's JMP here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys which primaries actually need a buff, which archetype needs a buff, which exotic primaries need a buff. No nerfs here, just buffs. If some of you guys think that I have absolutely no clue what I'm talking about when it comes to this type of stuff, you can just look up my Crucible stats on the weapons that I've used. This all comes down to experience. I've used pretty much every single primary that there is in the game, and I know which ones need buffs and which ones need nerfs. But we're going to be talking about buffs only in this video. And this video actually took me quite a while to put together, guys, so I'd highly appreciate if you guys leave it a like. Our goal is 2,000 likes. And also don't forget to share it around because I really want to show Bungie this. I hope they really do see it. If you're watching this, Bungie, I freaking love you. And hopefully you implement some of these buffs that I have gathered for you, my beautiful beauties. And this is all professional scripted commentary. So I hope you guys enjoy, and here we go. Alright, let's start with auto rifles. Auto rifles are in a pretty good spot right now, but the high impact archetype is where work needs to be done in order to compete against other high impact primary weapons. High impact autos don't really fit that role of high impact just yet, if that makes any sense. If you compare a high impact auto to a high impact pulse or even a high impact scout, the auto rifle kills the slowest. It just doesn't feel right for a high impact weapon, you know? High impact hand cannons actually kill the slowest out of all the high impact archetype weapons, but it's okay because I feel like those are for PvE. High impact autos get outgunned by pretty much every primary that has a faster kill time at auto rifle range, where auto rifle is supposed to be dominant. To be honest, what is the reason to use a high impact auto when faster rate of fire autos and Hawksaw archetype perform way better than those ranges? Also, hand cannons perform a lot better as well. The way I would like to see high impact autos be buffed is pretty damn simple. Add more impact. In PvP, high impact autos would do 29 headshot damage instead of the 27 that they do right now if you decide to buff them, Bungie. So just add 2 points of damage in PvP to the head, doing 29, and to the body, doing I don't know how much, I forgot. This will make high impact auto rifles kill a little bit faster, taking 7 rounds to the head instead of the 8 at optimal auto rifle range. And there will be a lot more variety, honestly. But what do you guys think? Tell me down in the comments below. Moving on to scout rifles. Scout rifles are actually in a good spot right now, except for some of the mid-impact archetype, the ones that do 61 headshot damage in PvP. Why do I say just some and not all of that archetype? I'm talking about the magazine size and the flinch inflicted onto enemies, even though these are the slowest killing scout rifles in Destiny. But keep it that way, Bungie. Don't change any of the impact. They're scout rifles and must be used from a distance to use efficiently. For the magazine size, some mid-impact scout rifles need a magazine increase to fit the role of that scout rifle for how much impact they do. I'm talking about some mid-impact scout rifles. The 17 round magazine scout rifles are perfect, but the ones that have a 14 or less magazine size are the ones that need that magazine increase. Keep in mind, these are only the mid-impact archetype. It just doesn't make any sense when a mid-impact scout rifle has close to that of a max magazine hand cannon. For example, the Hawk Moon holds 13 rounds in the magazine. I've seen mid-impact scout rifles with 13 rounds in the magazine default. That's not okay. Mid-impact scout rifles should have somewhere between 15 and 19 rounds in the magazine by default. 17 is a perfect number. As for flinch inflicted by a mid-impact scout rifle needs to be increased, not by much, but a little. It just makes no sense that Mida causes more flinch than higher impact scout rifles, and Mida does less damage. I don't get it. But other than that, scout rifles are in a good spot. Not much change is needed. What do you guys think? Tell me down in the comments below. Alright, now moving into pulse rifles. Pulse rifles are in a weird spot at this time in Destiny. The mid-impact pulse rifles need some love. But to be totally honest with you guys, I'm not exactly sure what Bungie can actually do with them. The mid-impact pulse rifles aren't too bad, but there is no reason to use them when you can just use Hawksaw archetype of pulse rifles. That archetype kills faster, have better stats, and are overall a lot more reliable than the mid-impact archetype of pulse rifles. Honestly, Bungie, all I can see is you possibly changing the whole mid archetype into the Hawksaw archetype. That's the only way I see it. I don't know. I don't know what you guys can do with the mid impact pulse rifles. As long as the Hawksaw archetype is there, that archetype is going to be dominant over the mid impact pulse rifles. Also, high impact pulse rifle. They don't really need too much of a change, to be honest, but I would buff them just a little teensy weensy bit. The impact needs to be buffed in PvP by 1 damage. Instead of doing 34 to the head, it'll be doing 35 to the head. This way it is more consistent at range engagement where it is supposed to be used efficiently because it is a slow rate of fire. And it's a high risk, high reward weapon. But it is one of the most fastest killing primaries in Destiny, or at least in the Crucible. Now in PvE, this archetype actually needs a buff. It needs a damage buff. That's all that needs to be said, honestly. They feel kind of weak in PvE, Bungie. They kind of do. But what do you guys think? Tell me down in the comments below. Alright, moving on to hand cannons. To be honest, hand cannons, the only thing is to add maybe a little accuracy buff, and that's pretty much it. Sometimes bullets that I know that hit my target miss. These ghost bullets, I don't always encounter them too often, but I do notice them, even at optimal hand cannon range. Other than that, hand cannons are in a pretty damn good spot, Bungie. Good job. Now moving on to exotic weapons. Alright, everybody knows this. Fabian strategy needs a buff. If you guys don't know what Fabian strategy is, I don't blame you. Fabian strategy is a Titan exclusive exotic auto rifle that nobody uses. You get it from ranking up in the gunsmith, like how you get the Ace of Spades and the Talak. I think that's how you pronounce it. I have absolutely no clue. But if you compare the Fabian strategy to the Ace of Spades or Talak, it's a piece of poo. The Titans really did get the short end of the stick when it came to these class exclusive exotics. It's actually pretty sad. The Hunter exclusive exotic is pretty much a Mida in terms of having your radar while aiming down sights, a Fatebringer because of the Firefly perk, and Black Hammer because of returning rounds back into the magazine. Not to mention, Ace of Spades is godly in PvE because of its exotic perk. 3 weapons in 1, actually. What else could you want? As for Talak, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name, guys. I'm actually really sorry. But Talak is a total workhorse. A beast, a monster. When its exotic perk is in proc, you know, it's an okay scout rifle. But once you have a full supercharge, it's outgunning time. Talak's exotic perk gives you more handling, stability, and a rate of fire without losing impact. All for the exchange of your full super. And to be honest, that's not even much of a sacrifice, because you can use your super anytime. It doesn't restrict you in any way, to be totally honest. Now, how would I buff the Fabian strategy in order to be in line with the Ace of Spades and the Talak? Sorry if I'm butchering it. Well, first, Fabian strategy needs counterbalance. Question mark. Either replace a perk with counterbalance on Fabian strategy or add in counterbalance into the Frontlines exotic perk when it procs, and a larger magazine. I would say about 55 rounds in the magazine, but it doesn't need that magazine size if you consider what I'm about to tell you next. Frontlines, the exotic perk, needs to be reworked. Frontlines needs to activate from a further distance, and when it does, it gains all the bonuses that Frontlines offers, but Fabian strategy's impact will stay the same, doing 20 headshot damage with increased rate of fire from Frontlines perk. This will ensure that you don't get destroyed by shotgun warriors, and will fit perfectly with the OP-ness of Ace of Spades and Talak. Again, sorry if I'm butchering it, but what do you guys think? Tell me down in the comments below. And remember, it's a class exclusive, only Titans can use it, and us Titans can't use your Hunter hand cannon or your Warlock scout rifle. Hawkmoon is an okay spot, but if you want some variety in the Crucible, Bungie increase Hawkmoon's range and accuracy, not by much, but enough to where it can combat other hand cannons at range. That's all that needs to be said in Hawkmoon, pretty much. Hard light. This exotic, Bungie wants you to use it. They buffed it a few times in the past because nobody used it, but the way I would buff the Hardlight, Bungie, is to reduce the recoil. Seriously, Bungie, reduce the recoil. No matter how much stability you have on Hardlight, it has a shit ton of recoil. Bounce. Or you can just add counterbalance. Moving on to the last exotic on the list, Red Death. This weapon used to be one of my favorite pulse rifles back then. This weapon hasn't really seen too much action anymore. That's really sad to me, to be honest. But the way I want to see Bungie buff Red Death is to change the archetype. That's right, change the archetype how it used to be. Change it into the Spirit Change archetype. I promise you, people will start using this beauty again. I'll even pick it up and use it myself if you decide to change it into that archetype, Bungie. But if you do decide to change it into that archetype, you will need to buff the range and a little stability to combat the slow rate of fire. Come on, Bungie, just do it! Woo! So that is the end of the video, guys. I'm actually very proud of making this video. Hopefully you guys are proud of me. I freaking hope you guys are proud of me. But honestly, what do you guys think of these changes that I have came up? Hopefully Bungie takes a look at it. And honestly, I honestly do think these changes need to take action. But tell me down in the comments below. Let's not forget to share the video so Bungie can see this, because I really do want them to see it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Our goal is 2,000 likes. Check out these two videos if you guys haven't already. Also follow me on Twitter. All links will be down in the description below. Also the videos that you see on screen right now. That is pretty much it, guys. Remember that I freaking love you. And until next time, later.